Hi everyone, welcome to I'm a Recruiter. I'm your host Prafula Deori. I'm Recruiter is a community created by and for talent acquisition professionals. Our vision is to build a leading global community for TA professionals, and our mission is to help 100K TA professionals grow from traditional recruiter to a trusted advisors. If you find our content useful, please support us by liking, subscribing, sharing, and commenting on our channel. Today, we have Glory Jena, a talent acquisition professional at Travelopia with us. Glory has an army background and has traveled extensively, giving her a unique perspective. Her diverse heritage from Orissa and Maharashtra, along with her studies across India, Glory began her career as an operation management trainee with Starbucks, where she discovered her passion for recruitment. She has worked with companies like ADP, WNS, Intuit, and many more. She holds a degree in hotel management, certification in CAP and Scrum, specializing in both IT and non IT hiring. Glory excels at solving challenges and loves updating her skill. As Helen Keller said, alone we can do so little. Together we can do so much. With this, I would like to welcome you, Glory. We are really excited to have you in our podcast and looking forward to have more insightful discussion. Over to you. Why don't you quickly introduce yourself?
Thank you so much, Praful, for having me here. I'm so excited to be here. It's a great opportunity, and that was quite an introduction that you gave to me. So thank you so much for that. Yes, I have a diverse background, so many working experiences, restaurants, banking, and so on and so forth. Even a magazine, for that matter. So I have a lot of experience, but what makes me into recruitment is talking to people, like I'm here right now talking to you, and I am very excited to share more about myself.
Sure. Looking forward, Glory. So, like you all have seen our podcast earlier. So today we are trying to make it little bit interesting. So with this, we are not following the regular pattern where we try to ask question to our guest and all. So today we will try to put them on spotlight. So something surprising coming up, Glory, for you. So we have a rapid fire question lined up for you. So we'll
All
first
right.
ask you some rapid fire question, and post that we'll try to go back and ask few questions related to your career and personal life and all those things. Yeah.
Definitely.
So ready for the rapid fire question?
Almost. Go for it.
Great. So which is your favorite book?
I don't read.
Okay, sure. So do you like tea or coffee?
I'm a coffee person.
Okay. Most memorable interview experience.
Oh, quite recently I had an interview experience and I rejected their offer 2 years ago. And then I was interviewing for them, and the panel who was interviewing me was somebody who the offer I rejected for. And it was so embarrassing for me that he introduced me as somebody who rejected our offer and is here for the interview. So it was embarrassing.
Good to know. Good to hear that. Okay. Top skills a recruiter should have.
I think listening is important. I think most importantly for a recruiter, listening and having an eye for detail and an unbiased nature. These three things stand out for me. I think everywhere else you'll come to know a lot of things, but these basic things stand out for me.
Okay. So Instagram or WhatsApp?
Instagram.
Okay. Yeah, I have heard that you have lots and lots of followers in Instagram as well. So definitely that makes sense now.
Yes.
Great. Next question is morning person or a night owl?
I'm a night owl completely. Cannot get up before a certain time. I don't want to say it right now. My boss might hear it, so. But I'm a night owl.
Sure. Favorite place you have traveled?
I think I'll call it Pondicherry. I loved it. It's a slow beach place, and it's very beautiful and less crowd. So I really love it.
Okay. And best career advice you have received ever?
Something when my mom tells me, keep trying. You don't know where you will reach, but you will reach somewhere, and you're definitely going to go upwards because the past is going to teach you something. So keep trying, and you'll make it somewhere. If it could not be what you aspire for, it could be what is written for you. So that way. Yeah.
Agree. Totally agree. So one thing you can't work without.
Music. I love to have a little background music to work. I have my headphones on always at work. At home, I have my Alexa, but there has to be music with work.
Okay, what kind of music you'd love to hear?
You judge me for it, but I am a very avid Punjabi music listener. It's extreme. Either it's Punjabi or it's like slow meditational songs sometimes. Sometimes even these 90s John Denver hits. So yeah, it is a balance.
Sure, sounds good. And dream company you want to recruit for?
I wanted to recruit for Google. I got through, let's just say, but something happened, and maybe next few years you might see me in Google or Microsoft. So these two keep are the two prime that I look forward to.
Awesome. Great. Thank you so much for the rapid fire question. I know I have put on kind of spotlight on you and tried to ask you this question, but thought that our guest or our audience might like this kind of activity a little bit. Great. So moving forward to our regular questions and answer session, right? So we want to know a little bit about your journey and your inspiration thing, right? So, can you also tell us a little bit about defining a moment in your career that inspired you to pursue talent acquisition? Because you have a very diverse background, you have traveled to multiple different places. So,
Mhm.
what inspired you to become a talent acquisition person?
So I have almost a decade year experience in the working corporate industry. But what stood out for me is my initial years were more about exploring myself. I got through a campus placement from Starbucks, and I was trying to figure out what life was into retail, because I've done my hotel management, and we have stereotyped jobs. So if a boy or a girl, if kids are doing engineering, they have to be an engineer. If somebody is doing MBBS, they have to be a doctor. Somebody's doing arts, so something in the same profession. And likewise, I ended up in a restaurant chain. I used to love my job, but there was this question running in my head: what next? What is the future growth and scope here, which probably a lot of people still haven't figured out in half a decade of their work experience. But I think I was lucky that I found a breakthrough, and I switched jobs from retail operations, restaurant chains. I joined a sales come call center kind of an environment. But interviewing was something which was genuinely part of things around me, be it campus at Starbucks, where I was the face of campus for Maharashtra. So that was intriguing, but I wasn't there yet. Then came WNS, where I was in sales. I was still part of voice and communication interviewing section because they thought my communication was good. So I was lucky enough to be part of the interviewing screening process. And for some reason, I don't know, I still couldn't find my zen there. And soon after, ADP happened, and it was by fluke. They were hiring me for a payroll thing, but honestly, my interview went so bad. They asked me some maths questions, and I'm bad at maths. So I definitely wasn't shortlisted for it. But 15 days later, I got a call, and they said, we want to recruit you for this particular position at RPO. And I was like, sounds exciting, because this is something which I was doing and I could get into. So 2.5 almost years later, after my first job, I got into ADP, and I felt I belonged there. So it took me almost 1 year to just get into everything and learn everything quickly. And I think I wouldn't say I'm a fast learner or slow learner, but what interested me in recruitment, and then I got the whole path. I was able to grasp it immediately, and I've stuck with it for so long. And I'm as excited to talk to a candidate every day as I was years ago. So I think that was something, the start of the spark of recruitment in me back
Great,
then.
awesome, Jenny. Uh, till the time you find your Jenny, you have to keep looking
Yeah,
because otherwise you don't know the purpose, right? You don't feel connected enough, and you can't give your 100% as well.
that is true.
So moving to our next question. So even when you started your career in recruitment, you started learning for 1 2 years, then you started growing in your career, right?
Yeah.
So recruitment even can be challenging sometimes. So what kind of challenges you have uh, gone through during your recruitment journey? Especially, you have been in both diverse field. You have been in IT, non-IT. What kind of challenges you have faced, and how did you overcome those challenges? And what kept you motivating to go through those challenges?
I don't even have to go in history to tell you what challenges, because every day there is some challenge. Either it is related to Excel, or it's related to candidate not taking your calls, or an offer or negotiation. There has to be something which goes on. All these challenges are related to mostly in recruitment communication. Right. So when it's about stakeholder management, or when it's about candidate communication, and we as recruiters have multiple heads to target, or to be in and around. So I feel those are the kind of challenges. When I started recruitment, I started with job postings, and there are things like basic salary omitting, and I have forgotten doing that. And we all know how budget cannot be disclosed. So that has happened with me. Then things like stakeholder management, and I was in RPO setup, and RPO setup is absolutely most crucial on communication. If your
Yeah.
stakeholder doesn't know what you're doing, then your work is not being justified. Let's be honest. And I when I started, I was this casual girl who just was exploring the job and everything. So I have done blunders when it comes to stakeholder management, and not communicating, maybe a weekly report, and something. I have had my misses. But over the years, I've understood that communication is one challenge which you'll face every day. Either it is with your stakeholders, your candidates, and even with your internal team. And to keep it on point, and then to keep it going better every day, you either draft an email, you make your notes, or you have it written somewhere, so you can go back to it and know, so you don't miss it. And I think I'm an old school person, so I like journaling. So I have my to do list, so I know that the moment I have something, I need to put it in my to do list, and I don't forget it. So I think that's how I have built up, and I have, let's say, erased a lot of challenges that I used to face. And I think if I go ahead and tell you about instances, I think every recruiter has done this. Missed a report, not communicated to the candidate that they've been rejected. So I think we all have come across, and I
Yes.
think it all comes to communication, and so is my to-do list, so it works for me.
I think definitely to-do list is one of the very great point which you have mentioned, because like when even I studied, I was not writing any to-do list, right? I used to miss lots of different things which I have to do in my uh, everyday task and all those things. And later when my mentor came up and asked me, where is this work, and I was not able to answer him. Then he have suggested that you can do this, you can do that. He have given me lots of alternatives, and to-do list was one of the thing which he have suggested, and I do follow. And whenever any mentee come to me, even I suggest to them as well कि तुम लोग भी to do list बना सकते हो,
Wow,
and it's
wow.
very helpful as well. So in recruitment, which is the most exciting part, आपको क्या अच्छा लगता है, like what you love the most?
I am a very technical person. So people in my friend circle, they call me a stalker. Okay.
Okay.
So finding the profile, be it, or making that particular Boolean string, or finding somebody who's like so difficult to find, even on a personal front, a lot of friends have come to me saying, I want you to find details of this particular person. So they'll just give me a name or a company, and I'll have to just figure out. So looking for that particular thing in recruitment, it's a challenge to yourself every day. Be it a sales role, be it given point of role, be it an engineer, which is hard to find a particular skill set. So finding it is the curiosity of reading new profile, reading new skills or in a person, and to looking for that particular Boolean string, or a particular profile, or actually searching for that right skill, is my most intriguing factor of recruitment. It is not job posting, it is not candidate communication. That is ongoing. You have to do it every day, and it's part of your role. But to look for new profiles, and talking and knowing about what happens in their world, is interesting. So I love to talk to people, find them as per the requirements, and know what different are they doing from other engineers or other salespeople or something like that. So looking for somebody through various techniques, and I think I specialize in finding people through AI portals also. So there are so many platforms that I use, and I'm on look of these new platforms which keep our work easy. So you don't have to think of an entire Boolean string. You can probably go copy paste a job description and get a Boolean string out of it. So I'm on a lookout of new techniques mostly. So that way.
Great, great, great. Good to know. Definitely, I think everyone have their own ways to work as well, right? And good to know that you are on this path on exploring different techniques and all those things. Good to know that. Great. So, going a little bit on your past. So, you're basically from which part of India? Where you born? And like you during the
Ways,
introduction,
yeah.
you also mentioned about like you have been part of various. You have traveled across India. So, can
Yes.
you share your journey with our
Exactly.
audience?
So I was born in Ahmednagar, which is a town in Maharashtra, very close to Pune. A lot of people will relate to Ahmednagar because it's one of the bases. And again, I'm from a Nami background. Uh, Culturally so diverse. My mother is from Maharashtra. My father is from Orissa. And religion wise also, my mom's a Christian, my dad's a Hindu. So I'm like a mix of cultural heritage of India. Studied in Goa, Delhi, Jodhpur, and so many other places. Then did my college from Bangalore, and well traveled because of schools. I think that makes me okay to go and find my friends, explore, and that because I have that ground work of background, and that gives me a non-biased outlook towards life. Yeah.
Agree. So, since you have been part of many different states, many different culture as well, right? Is there any favorite state or a place you'd love to, once you are retired, you would go want to go back and stay there?
I think my heart lies in Pune. I would any given point of time go back to Pune, settle there in Pune, have a slow life in a corner, or if it was a one first tier city. But if you ask me, just throw me in Goa. I will have a own bakery and just enjoy my life.
So you love baking?
Oh yes, that's like my healthy healthy get away from all the mundane work.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how long you have been baking?
I started when I was in sixth standard. We had that
Okay.
Bajaj oven where my mom used to bake cakes for birthdays, and so my mom taught me how to bake, and that got into me. And hope I mean I was lucky to do hotel management, so I know a little tips and tricks of the trade. And so now I've become a brownie specialist. So if you come home ever, I will make sure you have the brownie. It's a 15-minute task for me.
Okay, good to know. Definitely, we'll try to come and have some day at least.
Definitely.
Great. And so you mentioned about your mom and your dad. So like, how did your mom and dad met each other?
So my dad was best friends with my mama, and they had come over for a vacation. Like they have their vacation, term vacations, and all of that. And my mom and dad met, and this is what this is how the story goes. That my mom liked my dad so much that she approached him, and my dad was
Okay,
also single and looking and available, and he kind of it was probably love at first sight for them. And it's more than 30 years they're still together happily. I mean, of course they fight like there's no world's end, but I think that's one of the best bonds that I've seen in life, and I look for it in my future partner and live by their love story. So that's
great,
something that's
great.
sweet about.
Good to know. And thank you for sharing those. Great. Now moving back to recruitment again. Like again in our discussion, you also mentioned about candidate experience. So we all know that candidate experience is very important. So
Yes.
what are some of the innovative strategy or practice you would like to implement to enhance the candidate journey or candidate experience? Like, what are the different things you do to, let's say, give the best candidate experience?
In as a recruiter, it is a number for me in the head. But I don't treat it as a transaction. When you have treat a candidate as a transaction, it becomes a transactional relationship, and there is no emotional quotient there. And that's when you don't feel the responsible towards their interviews or their career with the company. And that's when I cut the loop, and I treat every candidate equally and with utmost respect and emotional availability. So how I make a difference here is I make sure that I connect with them on a personal front. It's not only about selling the job, it's also telling them what's in it for them, and what growth do they or they will have in future when they join our company or wherever we're working, and giving them the job. And making sure at every step of the way, as a recruiter, it's your responsibility to guide them, to probably give them notes, to probably tell them that, hey, you know what, you be prepared for this, and if don't worry, if you are not able to do it, call me, I will prep you for it. Or uh, taking them step by step through the interview process, holding their hand, and even when they do not clear, just go back and tell them honestly that you didn't clear, or the feedback, whatever you have it. Like, I'm sure a lot of times you don't have the feedback also, so you shy away from giving them the feedback or saying no, and that's where the gap is. But no, if you don't have the feedback, tell them, yeah, I don't have it, I will come back to you. Don't ghost them. I mean, a lot of recruiters ghost, and we all have been in the same situation. I've done it too, so I won't deny it. And if they get hired, maybe be there on their first day of work, check with them how they're doing after 2 3 weeks, if they're liking the job or not. So your recruitment journey doesn't end when it's an offer and then a hire. It goes beyond, and that's what human connection is: keeping them on schedule, having a little bit of interactions. That's how I make my candidate experience better than any, I mean, I wouldn't compare, but better than my previous recruitment time. I've grown as a recruiter. Also, at the same time, having a proper mail channel. So
Okay.
I have an automated mails for candidates who approach me, even if they've applied and all of that. And if there is a delay, which usually happens, of course, all of us have delay in communications, but make sure you go back. If you have an automated email set for them, you go back and follow up on what happened and things like that. So I think that works for me.
Sure. Great. Definitely, I think those small aspect makes lots of difference कि दूसरे लोगों को experience दे रहे हो, how you make them feel. Like, it's not important to give them something big. We can't give
Yes,
anyone job, but
correct.
we can take very little steps to make them feel comfortable, make them feel happy.
That
जैसे
is
आपने
true.
बोला कि like you prep them, like during their first day you talk to them, you
Yes.
connect with them.
Yeah.
After a couple of months, you go back to them and try to
Yeah.
understand whether they're liking their job or not. Those are few of the things which can make the relationship much stronger with your
That is true.
candidates, with your employees as well. And it can make you move from a transactional recruiter to a trusted advisor, I would say.
Absolutely. And I have to mention this, that these candidates, even if they get rejected and go to another other companies, and if someday you need a job, these are the ones who refer you in other organizations, and it's a very small corporate circle. So it's basic, you give them respect, you take respect, and it's a circle. So you will meet people, and like I said, I met somebody 2 years ago who I rejected the offer for. So it is a cycle, and you need to respect that individual.
Totally agree. Great. So now I just wanted to, there is one question in my mind, just wanted to understand. So since you have been in operations, you have been in sales, like, do you think those role have some or the other way helped you to be a better recruiter?
Oh, yes. I would say yes, because I know what's happening on the ground to connect to what the candidate is saying. So if they tell me that, hey, not met my targets, my quarterly target was this, and I would portray, and if I know that a candidate is trying too hard to just give me some numbers, I would know that they're bluffing, or however that is, or if they've not done their homework well, or things like that. So it's important to know the groundwork, and I wouldn't say I know how what an engineer does, but when I go and talk to them over the years, I have acquired information and knowledge. If they come and tell me, they've done these things, I can cross question them and know and dig some information to know if it's relevant or not. So yeah, knowing what's happening on the ground is very important.
And so definitely that's for everyone. I think some of the other learnings will be there in their career journey, right? For me also, when I started, there were lots of different journey. Like we all do lots of different mistakes as well, and
Mhm.
from those mistakes also we keep learning different things. Same like you have mentioned that you in one of the job posting you have mentioned the that budget and all those
Salary,
things, right?
yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Similarly, when I moved from a consulting to a corporate recruiter, but again, it was a contractor role. Uh, Initially, I was just using Naukri in my consulting days. Then I moved to corporate, and I was using LinkedIn, and I thought that it was same mass mail. So even I in mail, I have completed exhausted all the companies in mail in one
Mm.
single day, and our SVP of recruitment or TA, they reach out to me in night and ask me, "What have you done?" and all those things. So we all do some mistakes, and we all learn from our mistakes.
I'm
And
glad you didn't. I'm sorry, but I'm glad you didn't send in mail to somebody from the same company. I've done that, so I know.
no, no, even I have done that. I think we all, some or the other way, have done those things. But again, like
Yes.
it's interesting, right? When we go back and hear this kind of story, something funny we can share across.
Yeah.
Great. So in today's recruitment, definitely diversity plays a very important role. And you have been in diverse culture, you have been in diverse state. So how do you see diversity hiring is so important? And today it's not just diversity, there are lots of other factors as well. How inclusive you are. So there are many other different things, but again, like it differ from company to company, like it
Right.
different from like how mature the company is. And
Right.
but as a recruiter, how can we guide our stakeholders, like in terms of diversity hiring? So what your thought process on diversity hiring?
It's probably a mandate that we need diversity everywhere, and it started as a majburi, I would term it. Right. It started as a majburi or a compulsion. Let's not, majburi is too derogatory to add, but it started as a compulsion in every companies because government rules were changed, and we were going towards globalizing our industry, our corporate work culture, and all of that. So it started with as a compulsion, and soon, because it was diverse in nature, soon people, it started with women. Let's just be honest, it started with women getting into the tech industry, to be honest. But it started working for everybody. It started showing up results, and women were given chances. Women returned to work, people coming from maternity leaves and all of that. It started with all of that. So there was like a boom in diversity hiring, and that actually worked for a lot of people, because having that balance of men, women, everybody else in the company makes you understand so many. So maybe a woman comes with a different perspective, maybe a man comes with a different perspective, but it worked for the company goals, and helped company grow. And so the whole idea of diversity was a boom. Soon we got into inclusion also, because why the bias? Because if you have the skill, we should be open to hire you. And I have seen companies grow. I have seen came in picture so much, you know let's say, normalization of a lot of things. We were living in a stereotypic generation, and once the DE&I boom came in, we started exploring. Things became open. People, a lot of opportunities came in, and there was a balance. And I think we've not reached there yet, but soon, in future years, with all the openness, all the awareness, I think we'll all be equals. We'll no longer be treated differently. There will be no pay parity. There will not be bias with gender, race, caste, or anything else, sexuality for that matter. And I think we're moving towards that end, and it's good to see people celebrating pride, people having return from women returning from work, and the acceptance rate is high. So I think it's a good step. And with me, I mean, personally, I've always been an inclusive person, so I've never faced it in my work also. And if I have come across any candidate, who's from any community or anything, I think I would look at their skill and not where they come from. So that's one thing. And the startup culture, I think that's increased our acceptance towards diversity. Because if you're in a startup, and I've seen a lot of startups growing, if you have the right fit, right skill, you are welcome to work. And the MNCs have now started, and of course it's got a long way to go, but there will be time where everybody will be equal, and there'll be no job bands, and there'll be no separation, and all of that. So I think we're doing good. We're doing good. Every company is doing good, and I hope we all reach equals someday.
I totally agree. And I think what I see is definitely we are doing in terms of gender, we are definitely doing good. But
Yes,
again, like there are in terms of other diverse thing, there are lots of more work to do
absolutely.
from because we have companies like big companies are definitely they have certain budget allocated for
Yes,
those projects and those roles and all, but
correct,
for younger organization they doesn't have so much budget to focus
correct.
on those areas. I think slowly government is also taking lots of different initiatives as well to promote those things which is helping, but again like I see lots of work to do there, but
There's a long way
like
to go. We all have to
yes,
go a long
yes,
way. Even veterans, for that matter, which the veteran hiring that we do these days, there is disparity there also. But now, because there is such a boom, now we're ready to accept people who are veterans also. So yeah, that way.
just curious, because what I have seen, if I need to compare US, EMEA, or India, in India, veterans, do you see veterans hiring picking up compared to US or other places?
I am seeing that, but the only difference is the veterans there have EMEA or US, North America, they have a very short tenure. They have a very short tenure of serving in the forces, right?
Okay,
So due to their short tenure, they're still young. They still can pick up. The veterans here now we are seeing people, and the shortest commission I would say is 10, 15. I could be wrong, but it is a good 7 above year of serving. That makes them less aligned with our corporate skills. But of course, before veterans coming in the corporate world, they go through a training and all that. But again, being biased would be a sad thing for them. But yes, they are getting chances, and I've seen JPMC, Amazon, so many other PwC having a whole veteran program altogether, and these people scale up. So that's a good thing. So maybe
good.
mid-sized
And
companies don't do it, but because obviously budget, a lot of other factors, because training is also involved. But
yes,
some companies doing it, which is a great thing. Yeah.
and again, like once one company does, other company try to follow the same trend as well, right? So again, since we are talking about diversity, since we are talking about biasness, removing biasness and all those things, but again, like what do you think about reservation, right? Because recently if you have seen the news, right, in Bangalore, in Karnataka, government have reserved something for their local people. So
Yeah.
do you think with this reservation and all we can focus more on diversity and inclusion?
I don't know, honestly. I don't even know if I'm going to say this and it's going to be a very so I don't know where this podcast might reach. It might reach to wrong people, but I don't want to be also safe and giving my opinion. But what I want to say here is this kind of reservation will not help anybody grow, I feel. uh, because the right candidate, and I think Bangalore 70% is somebody who's like probably from an IIT, probably from here and there, and then they all have migrated. All the tier one cities, Delhi, Mumbai, yeah, for that matter, Bangalore, and any one cities have the industrialization, because a lot of people, not only from their cities, other cities have come and made the whole industrialization a boom, and the companies have grown. But to remove those kind of talents on the basis of reservation will be unfair. Could be a certain segment, but the numbers that I've shown, we've seen in the news, I don't see scope there, because if you are going to remove people from Google, for that matter, uh, uh, Google will be empty in Bangalore, and I don't think. I mean, probably me, who's from Maharashtra, working in Karnataka, because I'm not a domicile. Sorry, my company might just shut, because there are so many others like me.
Totally agree. I think still government have to think. I'm just trying to take a normal person opinion. It's nothing to do with government and all. We are just trying to take each other opinion. That's it. And yeah, I think the same. And whatever government will do, try to do something good for everyone. Great.
Yeah,
So
just be kind to us, because we have given all our lives in working. We just can't leave the cities to go, because we are not domiciles. We're equally part of this whole state, the place we stay.
and we love Bangalore. We love
Oh
Karnataka.
yeah, exactly. Who wants to miss this weather?
Yes. Great. So moving back to recruitment. So Glory, I think you have a huge amount of experience and you have seen multiple different phases of recruitment. So
Yeah.
do you have any advice or suggestion for budding recruiters, how they can be successful? Any tips for them?
So a lot of people come in the industry not knowing what, and I think a lot of us, let's be honest, recruiters, I think 80% are by fluke and 20% are by choice. It's
I
my
totally
opinion.
agree. Yes.
Yeah.
After the
And
podcast interview, right, most of them have told it's by chance because no one knew what recruitment exactly is.
exactly. And I think it's the safe option people, and mostly the budding recruiters are the ones who, like me, when I started, I didn't know what was it, but I was still overlooking interviews and all of that. But by chance it happens, and when that chance happens to anybody, I think any recruiter should learn the basics. All right. When I give interviews, these days, the interviewer goes back to the basics of what recruitment is. Good sourcing strategies, how well you know your ATS systems, how many ATS systems have you worked with, the the kind of roles that you've hired for. So the whole basics of recruitment is something which I would suggest anybody who comes in the recruitment world to know their basics, to know the roots of recruitment. Let's say as basic as a job posting, a boolean string, what is and or not, how are they used, it is still important. AI comes in, it's fine, but you still need to know how it started, and things like that. So keep it conversational with the candidate. So that's going to take you a long way, because recruitment is not only about talking to people and interviewing them, but also having the knowledge and to find the right fit. So unless you know your basics, I don't think you will be able to go ahead in the
Yeah.
recruitment world.
So I just want to ask one more related questions. There are many recruiters who are kind of like introvert. They just try to do their job done. So can you also give them some tips how they can connect well with not only with the candidates but
Mhm.
also with the stakeholder? Because if you just follow the like job description or follow
Yeah,
the write up, it will not work. So how
that's
do you
true.
make the relationship with your stakeholder, with your hiring manager, or with your candidates? Like, do you just talk about work, or do you in general talk about other things as well to make them comfortable?
When we start off with a TA call, when the role comes in, sourcing connect, the first connect that we have with any stakeholder, when the role comes in, we ask them questions about the role, about the job, why, and all of that. But I think to have a little bit of chat here, I'm not saying that you have to have a complete personalized conversation, but to have a candid conversation about the role also. Like for example, when I'm sitting with my stakeholder, I tell them आपको कैसे roles चाहिए. I'm sending you 5 resumes, just see them. It's more personal, so you don't have to talk about what's happening, what are they having for dinner, but you can tell them, hey, I've sent you 5 resumes. I think they look fine, but एक बार देख लो आप if it works out for you. And I think these are small little things that you can do with people who are introverts, because work to work will make you will make a perception about you ki this person is just all about work, and not open. A lot of times they are doing their job, but because they're introverts, a perception comes out where people are like they're not open to discussions, they're rigid. So that's a perception, which is a mass perception everybody has. Somebody who's an extrovert will be like they don't want to work, they just want to chat. So you will face this kind of discrimination and perception building everywhere. How well you write your emails, I feel, is very important. How well you connect bi-weekly or weekly with the stakeholders, talk to them, address your problems, ask them what their problems are. Even being an introvert, you have to ask your stakeholders. Making that one little effort of asking what the other person also wants from you can do a lot of wonders. But I think email communication is very important, and soft tone conversations. You can't just be like, hey, this is it, please find attached. A little good morning, have a nice day would also work a long way. So a tone in your conversation also helps.
Yep. And why do you think email conversation is important? Because not everyone might understand that. So just to make them understand, I'm trying to ask you, why do you think it's important?
Because what if you make an error and you don't have anything? Email is your only answer. And trust me, you work with 5 different heads, you will forget, oh, I missed sending a report to this stakeholder. I missed, updating my candidate tracker. Uh, what are my challenges? And the role is going on for 30 days, 40 days. You're not able to, you're just pinging your or Slack or Teams or whatever you use. That is conversation. But when it comes to your productivity, when it comes to your performance, email will help you back up your not filling the roles or having issues, having problems. And emails will help you solve the problem also. If you don't have emails about a role which is hard to fill, which you've given your strategies and everything, they will probably not, they will probably say, no, no, it's open, the recruiter is at fault, they are not doing their job well. But it is the market, we can't blame the recruiter. If the recruiter gives a LinkedIn insight report, gives you the how many profiles that they've sent weekly, and a synopsis of everything that they've done to fill this role, and it's still not happening. And if you have emails right on point, the stakeholder might just increase the budget, or put the role on hold, or do something about it. So there will be action taken if you have an email communication.
Glory have mentioned, if you have any issue, any problem, those
Yes.
email can definitely help you anytime, right? You can pull those reports, pull those
Yes.
email and cross verify like how many resumes you have shared. Like
Correct. Yes.
sometimes even hiring manager can forget and tell your manager or your superiors that you haven't done anything, the recruiter haven't done anything. So those were the time those email might definitely help you. Now moving to,
Let's be
yeah,
kind to emails. Let's be kind to them, that they're not always a proof, but they're also a very effective communication tool. So anything updates, any update, let's not even call them when you miss something, but anything which is important is always on mails.
yeah, agree. Now coming to the next question. In one of the conversation you did mention about AI,
Yes.
like you use multiple different AI tools and all those things.
Yeah.
So is it so useful these days that all recruiters have to go and use AI? Is it a mandate, or like is it just you who is getting comfortable to use AI? And like second question is like how do you see recruitment industry adopting AI? And the in general question is like, is AI going to take human jobs.
Look, it's a very long one, but I just have this thing. Yes, you have to adapt to AI. Let's be honest. There will be a time, there will be so many AI enabled jobs, but you have to make yourself and your skill set irreplaceable in the market. You have to be an individual who can be there when AI also comes in picture. So increasing your skills, uh, making sure you are aware of what trends are. I think that's going to help us, all of us, in a longer run. We, and change is inevitable. You have to keep advancing, developing with what's happening with the world, with the trends. We follow Instagram trends, we follow YouTube trends. Then why not AI? It is definitely made to ease in our work, but can it take my job? Only if I'm not enough, or if not skilled enough. Yes, it can make my job easy. So do I make AI my friend or a foe? It is up to me. In future, there is a threat. I would not deny it. We just saw Amazon employed robots and then laid off a lot of people. Yes, it is a threat indeed. But can we do something about it? Yes, make us not irreplaceable, but be there where where somebody can be at, where AI is just a tool and not somebody who can replace us.
I definitely like your answer. And from this, I can definitely feel that you focus on learning and you focus on continuous learning. So, what kept you learning like new things? Because during the introduction, also, I have seen that like you have done multiple different certification as well, apart from your education course. So, what make you gain those certification, or in general, like why do you love to have or upgrade yourself?
Okay. So I can't read a book. Let's start with that. I can't
Okay.
be a book reader all my life. And probably that's why I was a biology student, didn't take up MBA, because it would take me to read a lot of books. So I can't. And I did hotel management, and it's a skill based course. So reading it and then implementing it was something which interests me. And now when I see the world changing, I got recently laid off from one of my jobs from Condé Nast, and that was a very big learning experience for me, because I'd seen people posting about layoffs and getting laid off. When it happened to me, I understood the importance of having a skill, and importance of being updated with everything happening. We usually forget we are in our 9 to 5 jobs and this is going on. Our company will not change. If you're in big MNCs, you feel secured because they have a sense of security. And when you have that sense of security, a lot of people go with the thought that, yeah, they're secure in their jobs. Ab kitna hi karna hai? This is my life. I will do little bit of extra, but that extra, I think I am that person who wants to do extra, not only for the job and other varied interests of life, because I get bored very easily. So when I get bored of one particular tool, and I'll tell you, Workday is something which we all have worked on, and Workday has so many reportings. So in my free time, when I had no roles, I would just go scroll on reports, see how I can actually make that interface easy for me. I would filter candidates from locations, from salary, bring out multiple reports. So I am that person who's curious to click that button to see what happens next, even if it's an error. At least I will know that I made a mistake and I'm not going to do it again. So when I'm like sitting idle, either I want to do some digital reading to know what's happening. That's how I started Instagram. That's how I started my own resin business. I do painting, and I don't want to do the mundane work. I want to keep myself aware and out there to know what is happening, and that's why I think I'm that person. I don't have a reason to what and why. I think it's been my curiosity who wants to explore and know everything. That's something. Yeah.
Very interesting. When you have mentioned that you were very curious, I felt that even I am the similar kind of person. I get bored very soon, to be very honest. And I also try to explore different things. So since you have mentioned about Instagram, and I have heard a lot
Mm.
of things about Instagram about you as well. So how did this Instagram thing happen, and how did your journey begin in Instagram? Because what I have heard that Glory is very popular in Instagram. So let's hear it out from her.
Oh God, Instagram just happened to me. We all started downloading because Facebook was getting old and we wanted a
Yeah,
photo app. And I think I joined Instagram in 2015, if I fairly remember, or 14, 15, around that time. So it used to be my picture gallery. I started posting because of it used to be my picture gallery. Then I started posting about what food I would have at a restaurant. And so I became a Zomato blogger. And that time Zomato reviews and blogging was very, very in. And yeah, and then life moved on. We would post, not post, and all of that. But there was a standpoint when COVID came in, and we all were alone at our homes, and we had nothing. And people who had their babies, kids, wives, family, and responsibilities in
they
and
were busy.
around, they were busy. Like people who had people around them, they were busy. I was stuck in a house, and I had nothing to do. I would work out, but it's the same thing. COVID, mein you were in a shell and you were living the same day, same life every day in a stuck room. That's when I decided that I need to do something, and I started clicking pictures and posting about what outfits that I have. So my cupboard would be cleaned, and I would take out one cloth item or lipstick or something that I had then, and I would just keep posting pictures, tagging those brands, and I started liking it. And eventually, then eventually I started loving it. Then skincare was something which I really admired, and I still want to do everything on my skin. You'll see if you meet me in person also, I will probably somebody will talk about skincare, how important it is, because we all are getting old. And then I started doing skincare blogging, and that picked up. Luckily it picked up. And then COVID, just lockdown restrictions had pulled up, and then I started traveling. So from skincare to travel, and fortunately, thanks to my parents' genes, I get I click good pictures, and I get clicked also. I look fair there, so I started loving that thing, and it got me a lot of brand collaborations. It made me a better person. It made me somebody very confident about myself. It helped me help a lot of people. I'm very vocal, if you see on Instagram, about a lot of things. And a lot of people could relate to me. They would come to me that how are you managing a 9 to 5 job and travel and everything. Some people would also say ki, oh, she's always traveling, she's had a good life, she's making a lot of money, and she's having a good life. But this was my break from the 9 to 5. So a lot of people don't understand that Instagram is also a break from the mundanity that we have every
Regular
day,
job.
regular jobs. And through that I got a voice of my own, because COVID we were all stuck. And I think now whatever I have reached, however I have reached, it gives me a voice to influence people for the right thing, and also share my own opinions irrespective of somebody liking me or not. And who doesn't want to see a beautiful face, beautiful scenery, and beautiful things around? Yeah. So I mean, I have started loving myself more. So the whole self love concept have come you know has come in me, and I've started loving my own self, knowing more about myself. I'm very self aware. And people reaching out to me for different things is also a very good high that I get. Like, oh my god, this one's asking me for my outfit. Oh my god, this one's outfit for lipstick color. So it's a very nice thing
You
also.
feel good when people reach out to you.
Yeah. And it's always
Great.
good to tell them that, hey, you know what? I got this from Sarojini. I got here this from here, or wherever. But it's a good thing. So yeah.
Great. And I think definitely when you do different stuff, you definitely keep learning. along with learning, you gain those kind of confidence as well. And definitely, the other thing which you have mentioned, the self love thing,
Yes,
you are aware of yourself and you can do much better thing as well.
correct. Yes, that is so
Great,
true.
awesome, good to know. So I think definitely it's a very interesting conversation going forward. But with interest of time, I think we have just last one question left
Yeah,
for you, Glory. So, how do you see the future of recruitment? Because there are multiple things happening.
yeah,
There are multiple requirements are getting changed. People are, if you see, manual testing jobs are getting removed in most of the
yeah,
organization, and now new roles are coming up like prompt engineer, data analyst, and whatnot.
right,
So how do you see the future of recruitment? Like because they, again, if you see, the economy is impacted for most of the
mm,
countries.
right,
Again, if the economy is impacted, definitely some or the other way, the recruitment will get impacted. And
right.
when recruitment get impacted, the recruiters or the TA people are also getting impacted some or
That
the
is
other
true.
way. So how do you see the future of recruitment in general?
I think it's ever changing. It's ever changing. You have to be prepared for the worst and for the best also. So we saw a boon in the IT industry because after COVID, everybody wanted to do a software product and everything. And suddenly now this year, after let's say 4 years later, we have AI. The manual jobs were testing jobs were affected, but at the same time, we've also seen data analysis jobs growing. So all of this is a skill that you have to acquire. I feel your skills and recruitment is never going to end. Let's be honest, people will always keep hiring, recruiters will always have the job, right? But how good of a recruiter are you will always depend on what skills you come with and how aware are you. You have to be the best creme de la creme to probably support recruitment and be there, because there will be AI, there will be people who will be working on AI. So you will have to find those people who will be working on AI. So things are going to change. I'm sure they are changing now also. The only factor that scares me is the condition, economic condition. We will need recruiters, but are we going to get paid? Are we going to be given that kind of remuneration because of all the hard work that we are doing? That depends again on wars, economy, so many other factors. But recruitment is never going to go. Just that we have to be adept with the technology.
I totally agree. Like just to give you an example, recently I traveled to US, and while coming back, I met someone, one of the air hostess who is basically from my hometown, Assam. So
Yeah,
Assam, again, like getting a air hostess job is a big thing, and that too
yeah.
from US. She was traveling as a air hostess, which is,
International, absolutely.
yeah, which is again a big thing. So if I can relate whatever you have told is like it, we have to adapt to the change, right? During the phase of COVID, the travel was not there. The demand of those industry, travel industry, were low at the time, or it was completely nil at the time. But since it have picked up now, again, like those industries have again.
Completely, many folds, yeah.
So similarly, like wherever there is a change, we as a recruiter have to adapt. And during that conversation of my travel, I asked her about recruitment as well. How does aviation industry recruitment happen? Like, आप लोगों को कैसे hire करते हैं? So they told that it's very simple, not compared to IT. It's like their own process, like group discussion, normal health checkups and other things, then personal interviews and all. So two personal interviews, group discussion, then health checkup and all. So this is how the interview process of an air hostess. So if anyone want to become an air hostess, so it's very simple, and you have to go through certain different courses and all. And
Yes,
yeah, it's not easy, but the salary package of an 6 month intern or an air hostess is huge.
I know.
So yeah, so when I asked her everything, and she genuinely spoke her heart out how she have
Yes.
grown, what kind of challenges she have faced, and all those things. But again, like I feel that recruitment is everywhere, and no one can stop. recruitment.
Nobody can. We are glad to be in an industry, honestly, which is irreplaceable, which cannot be, which we are irreplaceable. Recruiters are irreplaceable. You will need any industry, any company, a mid-size, a small size, will need a recruiter. So we are irreplaceable, but we have to make sure that we are irreplaceable. Yeah.
Yes. Again, I was thinking, like recently after this community was formed, I was thinking that what are different places recruitment are done. So I just try to understand that recruitment, even we do recruitment in our house itself. Like we take house help.
Household.
Yeah,
Yes.
those are kind
Yeah.
of a recruitment process, though, but those are taken care by our parents. We are not involved. But again, in high scale, that can be again like a good agency work and all those things.
Of course. We do have facility management, so many
Yes,
things.
yes. So definitely a very interesting discussion, Glory. Lovely talking to you, and lots of learning. Uh, Good to know in and out about you as well, and looking forward for more interesting discussion, Glory. And thank you so
Absolutely.
much for your time, and looking forward to collaborate with you through Instagram as well, so that you can
Definitely.
help us promote.
I'm very happy to be a part of this, and I think I don't know if somebody can relate to me, but or not. But I hope a lot of people relate to our challenges, and I think I have been as candid as I can be. Trust me, very real, and I hope people can relate and actually come to us and be a part of the community so we can grow together.
Thank you, Glory.